Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another session of structural analysis. So, in the previous class, we have taken problem related to the static indeterminacy, that is 2. Okay, so this is how we have calculated. That is, we have divided the entire beam into three parts. That is, in the first part, we have taken all the external loads. In the next part, we have removed all the external loads and replaced our reaction, that is RB. Instead of RB, we have used 1 kilonewton at the location point B. Then, similarly, we have gone through for the next frame, that is for RC. So why we are providing 1 kilonewton load is because unit load method. We have gone through unit load method also in the previous sessions. So the same concept we are applying for these type of beams. Okay. So now today we'll see another type of beam wherein we have a cantilever portion. We have a separate cantilever portion in our beam. So that beam we'll be considering now. So it is very important, and this type of problem has been asked many times in our previous question papers. Okay, so this is how the beam is. So the question is, analyze the beam shown in figure using flexibility matrix method. So in this particular beam, we have a UDL over the entire span, that is from point AB and point BC. We have a UDL of intensity 10 kilonewton per meter. And the new thing in this type of beam is a cantilever portion. We have a separate cantilever portion of 1.5 meter, and at the free end, exactly at the free end, we have a point load of 15 kilonewton. Okay, so how to solve this part of the beam? Because this part we have not seen in the previous sessions, isn't it? We have not came across this type of problem. However, we have gone through this type of beam, isn't it, till C. Okay, so the modulus of elasticity for this span AB is given as EI, and modulus of elasticity for span BC is given as 2 EI. Okay, 2 EI, and along with that, modulus of elasticity for CE, we have to consider it as EI only because it is not given over there. So whenever you come across a cantilever portion, we always used to consider this particular portion into a moment. Okay, so how to calculate moment for this cantilever portion? Force into perpendicular distance. So 15 into 1.5 will be 222.5 kilonewton meter. Since the beam is because of this uh, point load, my entire beam will try to get rotated in clockwise direction, isn't it? So because of this particular extra cantilever portion will be having a moment in clockwise direction, so we are replacing the entire cantilever portion to a clockwise moment. Here you can see, here we have a moment which is 22.5 kilonewton meter, and I have removed that part CD. We'll consider this part as D. So I have removed the entire portion, that is CD, and I have converted this portion into a moment that is 22.25, 22.5. So how we got this 22.5? 15 into 1.5, force into perpendicular distance. Now, so if you see this beam, again we have removed our unknown reactions, that is RB and RC here. Why we are removing that? Because the static indeterminacy of this structure is totally 2. How to see? Here we have three reactions, three unknown reactions over here at A, one unknown reaction at B, that is totally 4, then again one more unknown reaction at C. So totally unknown reactions are 5. 5 minus 5 minus 3. What is this 3? 3 is number of equilibrium equations, isn't it? So 5 minus 3 will be equal to how much? 2. So the static indeterminacy of this structure is 2. So that is why we are removing two unknown forces at point B and point C in our M diagram, capital M diagram. Okay. So now we'll consider our sections, that is section 1 1 at a distance x from point C. Similarly, we'll consider one more section, section 2 2 at a distance x from point B now. Okay. So this is the very most important part of the problem, that is how to take sections in a proper fashion. because once you get a point load, you have to take this section before load, and even you have to take one more section after load also. So but here in this case we have entirely a UDL, that is uniformly distributed load, so we can take anywhere in between the span or a section. Okay, so since here it is 2EI, we don't forget to take this 2EI, which is very important. Many times we fail to, we forget, many students forget to take this 2EI in the problems. They consider directly EI. So because of that, the entire problem will get wrong. So you have to be very cautious while taking this modulus of elasticity. Many times we miss this one. Okay, so this is section 11, which is at a distance x from point C. Now we'll move to the tables now. I'm taking you to the next slide. So in this slide you can see here we have how many regions? Totally BC and AB. You can see here we have BC and AB. Alright. So we are treating for span BC, we'll be treating origin as C, and for region AB, we'll treat our origin as B now. You can see here we have taken section 11 at a distance x from point C. Similarly, we have taken section 22 from point B. So as we are taking our sections from point B, so that means our origin is B for span AB. Similarly, we are taking our section 11 at a distance C from point, at a distance x from point C. So that means that I am treating my section 11 and I am treating my point C as origin. You can see here this is how I have taken. Similarly, what is the limit of BC? That means what is the span of BC? Limit is nothing but uh, uh, limit is 0 to 4. So how 0 to 4? Because my distance is 4 meters. My distance is 4 meters. That is span BC is 4 meters. So I am taking 4 meters. Similarly, span AB is 3 meters in the question. That is why my limit will be for span AB will be 0 to 4 and 0 to 3. Alright. Then again in the next part, in the next column, you can see here I have taken modulus of elasticity, that is EI. So for span BC, we can see it is 2EI. So the same thing I am writing over here, that is 2EI. Along with that, we have modulus of elasticity for AB as EI. So I will be writing here EI only. Okay, you can see here EI. So EI. Alright. Now we'll calculate moments for each and every part, that is each and every section. That is why I am writing here M diagram. So here we'll start with we'll continue the problem. So we'll calculate moments for this particular uh, diagram, that is M diagram, for this M diagram. Okay, so I'll calculate moment at this section 11, this section 11. You can see here we always try to calculate our moments from free end, that is from point C. So I'll take you to the next slide. See here very carefully, you can observe here we have here minus 5x square minus 22 to 22.5. How we got this value? I'll write here. See here, it is for this is the point at which I have to calculate my moment. So the very first thing is what is the intensity of the UDL? That is 10. So 10 into what is this distance? X, right? So 10 into X is the load. 10 into X is the load into X by 2. 10 into X by 2. So what happens here? 2 ones are 2, 5s are. So 5x square. So the final answer is 5x square. So see here the same thing we have got here, 5x square. So but we got this value in minus. Why? Because when you calculate moment from the right side of the beam, bending moment from right side of the beam will be how much? Will go in anti-clockwise direction. If it is clockwise, we take minus, isn't it? So minus. Again, this 22.5 is also going in clockwise direction. So we'll take this also as minus, that is minus 22.5. The same thing we have written over here. Okay. Next we'll go for the Next calculation, that is for section 2. You can see here we have another section in the same diagram, that is 2 2. So here what we will do, see here, we'll calculate the bending moment for the entire part of the beam now. So 10 into x plus 4, right? What is the total distance from here to here? From the section to our from section to our point C is, till from here to here it is x, and from here to here it is 4 meters, isn't it? So see here in this slide, minus 5 into x plus 4 whole square. Why we are getting 5? Because minus 10 into x plus 4 into x plus 4 by 2. So that means we are getting 2 like this, 10 into x plus 4 is the load, isn't it? 10 into x plus 4 is the load into x plus 4 by 2. So this 2 and this 2, this 10 will get converted to 5. So totally 5 x plus 4 whole square. This is what we got here. Minus 5 into x square. Why minus? Because it is going in clockwise direction. Similarly, we have minus 22.5. So as we all know, whenever we have a clockwise moment or couple at that particular beam, then we cannot, take the perpendicular distance directly. Whatever the value we have to take that particular value only, isn't it? So now we'll go for the next part of the problem, that is M1 diagram. We'll consider this M1 diagram. So how to calculate, what we do in M1 diagram? We try to remove all the external loads. See here, if we have removed 10 kilonewton per meter from this beam, and even we have removed the extra moment or couple developed due to this cantilever portion. So we have removed this one, and apart from that we have applied 1 kilonewton load at point B, which is going in upward direction, because reactions always go in opposite direction, isn't it? So the same thing we are applying here, that is 1 kilonewton, and our sections will remain at the same place. Section 11 is on the same place and at a distance x from point C. Similarly, if you see the section 22, section 22 is also at a distance x from point B. Okay, so the sections will remain at the same place, however the loads will change. Okay, the external load is changed, and even in the M1 diagram we have replaced our 1 kilonewton load. So now we will calculate moment at this point, that is section 11. So always remember, we always try to calculate bending moment from the free end of the beam, isn't it? So my free end starts from point C. So do we have any external load or any load at the right side of the section? No load, isn't it? So if you go to the M1 diagram, see here it is completely zero, nil. Able to understand? Yes. Next we will go for the next section. In this section you can see here we have a 1 kilonewton load which is going in anti-clockwise direction. See here, if you keep your thumb on this section, and if you rotate your finger, it will go in anti-clockwise direction, isn't it? So my RB is going in anti-clockwise direction. So anti-clockwise moments will be positive when you go for the from the right side of the beam. So 1 into x, which is x plus x, you can see here. Okay. Now next we will take down M2 diagram. So you can see here we have another diagram, that is M2 diagram. So in case of M2 diagram, the sections will remain again on the same place. However, we will be having loads, that is reaction at point C separately, that is 1 kilonewton load. Okay. So now again at section 11, if you calculate moment at this particular location, then 1 into x, isn't it? 1 into x, and again this force is going in anti-clockwise direction. So plus 1 into x. See here in M2 diagram, plus 1 into x. Similarly, if you calculate moment at section 22, we have my section 22 is at a distance x plus 4 from point C, isn't it? So this distance is x, whereas this distance is 4. So you can see here what we have written, x plus 4. Okay, 1 into x plus 4, force into perpendicular distance. Now once you solve the problem till here, okay, if your problem is properly, calculated, if you calculate all the moments properly till M2, then this particular part will be taken care by your um calculator only. Okay, so very very importantly, you have to take down all these values very carefully. However, these values are very small, very simple, but many times, many students will make a small minor mistakes in these calculations, especially into EI or even in limits, so which will lead to the wrong result for the entire beam. Okay, so take down these things very carefully. Now we'll go for the next part, that is next table. You can see here another table. In this table we have mm1 by ei into dx, then even we have mm2 by ei into dx, then furthermore we have m1 square ei by dx, sorry, m1 square by ei into dx, then m1 m2 by ei into dx, then m2 square by ei into dx. So this is the format we have to follow. So what is m1 by ei into dx? So m1 by ei into dx is nothing but uh, the uh, uh, deflection matrix, that is delta L, delta L. What about this one, m1 square by ei, m1 m2 by ei, and m2 square by ei? These are all flexibility matrix values. You can see here in this the another slide. You can see here m1 square dx, m1 m2 by ei into dx. All these are flexibility matrix, whereas this is delta L. Now you can see, you might be wondering, what is this 25 by ei? This 25 by ei is the beam. The beam has been sinked due to external loads by an amount of 25 by ei, by an amount of 25 by ei. So that is what we are taking here, that is 25 by ei in our calculations here. Okay, so we will calculate here m1 by ei. So m1, what is m1? See here, m1 is 0, so if you multiply anything with 0, it will become 0. So m1 by ei for the for another part of the beam, that is m1. You have to take very carefully. See here, this value into this value divided by 2. Why I am dividing by 2? Because it is ei, right? So here it is not 1 by 2 ei, so we will be having only divided by 1 here. So by ei into, and limit is 0 to 3 for this one. Similarly, m2 by ei. So if you go to m2 by ei, minus 5x square minus 22.5 into x, and again you can see we have to divide this entire value divided by 2 ei. So once you divide it by 2 ei, and integral should be 0, integral limit should be 0 to 4. If you if you insert those values in your calculator, you will get the value as minus 250 by ei. Similarly, in the same for the same thing we have to do for the span AB, and you'll get the value as 3052.5 by ei. Along with that, m1 square by ei. So what is m1? m1 again it is 0, so you'll write here 0. Okay. Next is x, integral x, and limit should be 0 to 3. Limit is 0 to 3, so the value will be 9 by ei. So once you add all these values, you'll get 9 by ei. Alright, then in the next column we have m1 m2 by ei. So m1 m2 by ei is nothing but 0 into x, you get 0. Then we have m1 m2 x into x plus 4 divided by ei into dx. So limit should be 0 to 3 for this one. So substitute those values, you will get 27 by ei, 27 by ei. Similarly, in the next case we have m2 square by ei. So m2 is x here, x by 2. Very importantly, x by 2 you have to do. Why? Because we have 2 ei here. So x by 2, and limit is 0 to 4, integral x dx, you will get 10.66 by ei. Similarly, you have 93 by ei. Then what we have to do here, we have to add all the values, we have to sum up all the values, all these values we have to add, that is you will get minus 922.5. Then similarly you add these one, you will get all these values. Okay, so once you get all these values, so this is how you have to place all the values in this matrix. So R is nothing but the unknown reactions, flexibility matrix is inverse of flexibility matrix into delta minus delta L. Delta is nothing but deflection due to external loads, and this delta L is nothing but the values, that is mm1 by ei into dx and mm2 by ei into dx. Okay, accordingly we have to substitute all the values of these matrices. So 9 by ei, 27 by ei, 27 by ei, and 103.66 by ei. substitute all the values in this matrix. Along with that, we have to substitute accordingly 25 by EI. These are the values for external deflection, whereas these are the values we got it for M1 by EI and M2 by EI. So once you do inverse of a matrix, the EI, modulus of elasticity, which is there in the denominator, will go in the numerator, whereas these values, the separate values for the deflections will be there. This EI will be in denominator, and denominator EI and numerator EI, all these values will get cancelled. That is, EI will get cancelled. The inverse of the matrix will be in this fashion, that is 0.5082, then minus 0.132, minus 0.132, then 0.0441. Okay, once you solve this 125 minus 922, you'll get these values. Okay, so this is a simple subtraction for these matrix, wherein you'll get these values. So once you get all these values, so inverse of a matrix of this flexibility matrix into the deflection matrix, you'll get the values of RB and RC. Okay, values of RB and RC. This is how we calculate our unknown reactions. Once you get the values for unknown reactions, you can easily calculate shear force, bending moment, and even fixed end moments. All the moments can be calculated with the help of reactions. So our unknown reaction, the static indeterminacy of the structure was 2, that is, we have removed RB and RC. So accordingly we got these values in 42.289 in kilonewton, and even this one as in kilonewton. So this is how we calculate unknown reactions with the help of flexibility matrix for a beam which has a cantilever portion. So this is one new thing which we have seen in this problem, that is, we have a cantilever portion in the beam. All right. Next, in the next problem, we'll be having non-sway frames. We have studied many problems on non-sway frames. So the same frames we'll be studying using flexibility matrix method. Okay, right.